All right, so you've heard me say this multiple times before, and I'm going to say it again. For you to add value, you have to be valuable. What does that mean? So let's go a little deeper on it. So your referral partners, your clients want you to add value so they can do what? Refer you to their friends or family. Get a referral so you can get a commission. If you don't add value, then you don't make an income. Mortgage 101, right? If you don't get the business, you don't get a commission. Kind of simple. Now, what's difficult for most people, I keep being told to add value, but how do I add value? It's much easier than you think. Adding value is about solving problems. First, you have to identify what those problems are. So an easy way for me to learn to identify, I learned it from a gentleman named Maher. He wrote the book, 7 Levels of Communication. Michael taught me, when he coached me, he taught me that the 3.5 most powerful questions. When you're sitting down with a referral partner, you want to ask powerful question number 1. So tell me, what do you have as the biggest hurdle or challenge in your business today? Listen how specific that is. What is your biggest hurdle you have in your business today? Challenge number 2. You can go over a hurdle, under a hurdle, or around a hurdle. So how would you try to overcome that hurdle? Question number 3. What are you going to try next? And that's where you get them. Question number 3, majority of times when you ask, what are you going to try next? The answer you have received back is, I don't know. I wish I knew. I'm trying to find somebody that knows. The half of the 3.5 most powerful questions is you coming in and saying, by when? And the by when becomes accountability for you. So if you sit down with a referral partner and you become a problem solver, you find out what their biggest challenge is. And if you look at the stats, over 70% of loan officers can't get a second meeting with a realtor. Look at that. 7 out of 10 times when a loan officer prospects a realtor, they get that first meeting and the realtor won't give them a time of day again. 70% failure ratio. Let's change that. So what I combat that with is when I tell the realtor, I find out their biggest problem is, I don't know, let's just say lead conversion. So here's what I'm going to do. Give me 1 week. I'm going to go do research on lead conversion tactics. And I'm also going to ask my other real estate partners that do a phenomenal job in this category, what they do, where to improve lead conversion. And I'm going to come back to you next Tuesday at 1 o'clock with some options, some solutions, some scripts, some tactics to be able to help you fix your biggest challenge in your business. What do you think that realtor is going to say? No, that sounds like a waste of my time. You're going to do all the research. You're going to do all the legwork. And when you come back to the realtor and you give he or she a proven roadmap of how they'll succeed fixing the biggest challenge they have in their business, now you've added value and now you're valuable. So you can do the same thing with your team. I do the same thing with my team for the fact of now being able to look at it as 3 types of leverage. So the 3 types of leverage that I talk about in the 24/7 Mindset, the book, is human leverage, systems leverage, and technology leverage. So I had to build my business in that same specific order. So human leverage, I hired a gentleman named Shane. He's been with me now for 11 years. Shane is complete opposite for me. He's an SC where I'm an ID on the DISC profile. He's very systems oriented and he's very conforming. He loves to follow a model and he loves completing the task. Does that sound like a good LOA? Yes, it was. So when you do a human leverage and you hire the right teammates, you can leverage them, which allows you to grow your business. That's what I'm trying to help you understand. Shane was better than me at creating systems, so I leveraged Shane and helped create the systems that my $30-40 million business was able to build off systems that made us scalable to $200 million a year in loans. And then from there, Shane and I hired a guy named Josh in 2018 that allowed us to build the technology leverage to be able to go from $100 million to $200 million of loans in a year. So it's human leverage, systems leverage, and technology leverage in that order. If you master those 3 over your career, you will be overpaid for the value that you bring in the later part of your career, like we talked about in the previous video. The number one mistake I see loan officers make in this, and they fall and they fail, that I want you to avoid. Give yourself time to develop. Give yourself time to grow. And what I mean by that is, so many people overestimate what they can do in a year. Unfortunately, they underestimate what they can do in 5 years. So what I want you to focus on is, I want you to focus on building out a business plan for the next 5 years. That's a really, really great mindset, because you've given yourself time to develop. Most loan officers want a business that's like a microwave. Well, it's not happening. There is no diet pill that you can take, or there's no quick, easy pill to go from 10 million to 100 million. It's just not. But and stop looking at your business like a microwave and start looking at your business like a crock pot. You ever put anything in the microwave and taste it, and it tastes okay afterwards? You put something in a crock pot, how flavorful is that? How much more do you enjoy that? But you had to give the crock pot time in your business to develop. So let's run some numbers for you to understand development. So have you heard of something called an hourly wage? Do you know your hourly wage? When I started tracking, my hourly wage was 2014. Can you guess what it was? 2014, I was closing about $40 million in loans. $40 million in loans, but I was working some crazy hours to do $40 million in loans. My hourly wage is only $48 an hour. 48. If I work less hours, my hourly wage goes up, because you do the same volume. With less hours, your hourly wage goes up. As I built a team around me, what I want you to understand is it went from 2014 to 2021, where my hourly wage went up to $7,500 an hour, and that's where it's been. For $48 an hour to $7,500 an hour, because I mastered 3 things: systems leverage, human leverage, and technology leverage. As you learn to master those 3 and build a team around you and be able to do the annual mortgage reviews, build the 6-lane highway, you're going to be able to increase your hourly wage, because you'll do more loans, you'll get bigger commissions, and you'll have less time in the day-to-day of the business. And remember the 4 quadrants. So Rookie of the Year, by the end of my Rookie of the Year cycle, I was making around $172 an hour. I went from I do it to we do it, the star quarterback. Quarterback went up to $1,700 an hour, building the team around me that I needed. To break through that limitation wall, I needed to build the systems leverage, to break through that limitation wall, which got me into the head coach category, which is $3,800 an hour. Now that I'm in the owner category, I make $3,800 an hour for my mortgage, and I own 11 apartment complexes that nets me enough money that I work in only 5 hours a month. That makes me $3,700 an hour. So total combined $7,500 an hour. But that was built over a 10-year window. It wasn't a microwave. It was a crock pot. Do you want to make $7,500 an hour? You've got to give yourself time to develop. And that's where patience equals wisdom.